City of Golden, Colorado is proud to present the Coors Play of the Week. New Year's night, the Orange Bowl. Oklahoma leading 16-10 in the third quarter. Sooner quarterback Jamel Holloway passes to Derek Shepard, who appears to fumble the ball. That's not how the officials saw it. Oklahoma goes on to get a field goal and wins the game, plus the national championship. For our final college football Coors 12-pack, plus the first annual Sports Page Player of the Year, catch the Coors Sports Page, Sunday night, 10:05 Eastern Time, here on the Superstation.
You know, I've been a beer drinker for a bunch of years. Like you, I've seen a lot of beer commercials. There's one beer that people loved before it was even advertised. You see, Coors was kind of the beer at my folks' place. People thought it was different, special. That was true long before there were any jingles or promotions. It's the product people love, not the hoopla. You think about that. How many products can you say that about? Coors is the one.
Hey, that girl's checking us out.
She pretty?
Beautiful. Then fix those dry, chapped lips. They're hurting, and dragging this hard, waxy stick over them hurts some more.
Try new Blistick. It's great.
Blistick?
Won't hurt going on those sore lips.
It really doesn't hurt. Creamy.
Real medicine helps healing.
Smooth. She's coming over.
Meet my sister.
Blistick, the soft touch for chapped lips.
When I'm out on the road with a load of meat on, bad weather, bad cold, my load's still got to go. So I rely on Alka-Seltzer Plus. It relieves my aches and pains, the stuffiness in my head, watering on my eyes, the running on my nose, and just everything. So I take Alka-Seltzer Plus before I sack out. And in the morning, I feel like gangbusters, and I'm back on the road again.
Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine. Fast, effective relief for tough winter colds.
You know you can do the job. All you need is a chance. Look what the Air Force Reserve can offer. Good pay and benefits, technical training in a variety of fields, and more education with the new Reserve GI Bill and the Community College of the Air Force. All for 2 weeks a year and 1 week in the month. Today's Air Force Reserve, a great way to serve.
The original Wizard of Oz on video cassette with the songs everybody loves. A witch everybody hates. And for just $29.95. Oh, Joe, so follow the yellow brick road to your video store and say,
I've got to see the wizard.
The original Wizard of Oz for just $29.95.
Hey, that girl's checking us out.
She pretty?
Beautiful. Then fix those dry, chapped lips. They're hurting, and dragging this hard, waxy stick over them hurts some more.
Try new Blistick. It's great.
Blistick?
Won't hurt going on those sore lips.
It really doesn't hurt. Creamy.
Real medicine helps healing.
Smooth. She's coming over.
Meet my sister.
Blistick, the soft touch for chapped lips.
Monday, it's Rocky Road at a new time.
My home is being overrun with ants.
Will invading ants make the steward say, Uncle?
Just the thought of them makes me itchy all over.
Then on Down to Earth,
I'm gonna make you a star.
Dwayne convinces Ethel to appear in his commercial, but can she? And on Safe at Home, love blossoms between Dan and... It all starts at 5:35 Eastern on the Superstation Monday evening.
The original Wizard of Oz on video cassette with the songs everybody loves. A witch everybody hates. And for just $29.95. Oh, Joe, so follow the yellow brick road to your video store and say,
I've got to see the wizard.
The original Wizard of Oz for just $29.95.
When I'm out on the road with a load of meat on, bad weather, bad cold, my load's still got to go. So I rely on Alka-Seltzer Plus. It relieves my aches and pains, the stuffiness in my head, watering on my eyes, the running on my nose, and just everything. So I take Alka-Seltzer Plus before I sack out. And in the morning, I feel like gangbusters, and I'm back on the road again.
Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine. Fast, effective relief for tough winter colds.
Do you know what all these people have in common? They are all members of the National Rifle Association. Why have 3 million Americans joined the NRA? For just $15, you receive full membership, which includes $300 accidental death and dismemberment insurance, $100,000 and your choice of NRA's official mentor or the American Rifleman. NRA is easily the shooter's big. Why not join now? To join the NRA, simply dial the toll-free number on your screen.
Camp free. To join, call toll-free 1-800-441-4040. 1-800-441-4040. We'll bill you later.
Stay with the Superstation. Next, Dr. J and the Philadelphia 76ers try to avoid a hit and run by Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons on a special edition Saturday night at the Hoop. Then Fred goes undercover to break up Lamont's romance in Sanford and Son. America's game. The NBA is next on Superstation.
The following message is going to come as a big surprise to you. Just take a look at this ring. It's the famous double rope band ring. This lovely ring is handset with a brilliant cluster of 30 genuine diamonds, and the ring is layered entirely in genuine 14-karat gold. Yet now it's available from us exclusively through this TV offer for only $12.95. But wait, there's more. If you order promptly, you'll also get this beautiful triple-tier dinner ring at no extra cost. It's handset with 9 ruby red faceted crystals, plus 17 genuine diamonds. Yes, you get both for the unheard-of price of $12.95. And here's another incredible surprise. If you order within 24 hours, you'll also get this Scandinavian snowball ring free of charge. Now listen to this. The Scandinavian snowball ring is yours to keep free, even if you decide to return the rest of the ring collection for a refund.
You also get a free genuine diamond pendant if you order within 1 hour.
To get your designer ring set, plus free full pearl ring and a genuine diamond pendant, just call toll-free 1-800-257-1234. That's 1-800-257-1234. To save $5 in COD and handling charges, use your Visa or MasterCard. Or mail $12.95 to Designer Ring Set, Box 7500, Atlanta, Georgia, 30357.
Experts have estimated that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 10 boys will be molested or raped before they reach adulthood. That is one of America's most alarming statistics. Behind these figures exist personal tragedies that could affect you or your children. I'm Daniel J. Travanti, and I want to recommend that you watch To Protect the Children. It is the first television program that provides answers to the question, can we do anything about it?
To Protect the Children, 9:05 Eastern on Superstation WTBS, Tuesday night.
This is the sound that earned them 16 gold records. Doug Clifford, Stu Cook, Tom Fogerty, and John Fogerty. Creedence Clearwater Revival. Oh, Susie Q, baby, I love you. Susie Q. Looking out my back door. And I wonder, still I wonder, who'll stop the rain? Hey, it ain't a traveling train. Yeah, down on the corner, on the river. This is the one, the ultimate collection. Creedence Clearwater Revival's greatest hits on 3 LPs or 2 cassettes, just $16.95. Here's how to order.
Credit card and COD customers call toll-free 800-257-1234. That's 800-257-1234. Or save COD fees by sending $16.95 plus $2 postage and handling to CCR, P.O. Box 7500, Atlanta, Georgia. That's CCR, P.O. Box 7500, Atlanta, Georgia. Please specify records, 8-tracks, or cassette tapes.
Hey, that girl's checking us out.
She pretty?
Beautiful. Fix those dry, chapped lips. They're hurting and dragging this hard, waxy stick over them. hurt some more.
Try new Blistick. It's great.
Blistick
Won't hurt going on those sore lips.
It really doesn't hurt. Creamy.
Real medicine helps healing.
Smooth. She's coming over.
Meet my sister.
Blistick, the soft touch for chapped lips.
These guys came in here.
Welcome, everyone. I hope everybody's having a fantastic week so far. I'm guessing and hoping that the majority of you are here because of the following of the Leticia Stauch trial, as well as, justice for Gannon, of course. And I have a special, very special guest with me today. She is the host of 10 to Life here on YouTube, as well as a new podcast called Seriously. I got it right again. Seriously, on Spotify and wherever you can download podcast, Apple, blah, blah, blah. I don't even really listen to podcasts anymore, but she is number 80 in all of podcasts on Spotify, which is mind-blowing. And number 18, I think, in true crime podcasts on Spotify, which is crazy. Not to say that, not to imply that I can't believe it. It's that it's just cool. But anyway, here is Annie Elise.
Hi.
What's up, Annie?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all,
Sounded
I feel like you need to be my agent because the way you just hyped me up so hard. Thank you. I appreciate
Oh, come on now.
it. I'm like, damn, wow, he's really going hard right now.
Dude, it's dope. What are you talking about? It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I had to join from my laptop. Apparently, I haven't been live in forever. So my camera and my mic, nothing's hooked up to StreamYard. So that's what took me so long. I had to I was like, okay, I guess I'll just go to my laptop. So sorry if the quality's shit.
I mean, this is what happens when you slum it. You forget what it's like down here.
No, I need to start going live again. And you know me, I'm like completely tech illiterate. So,
Yeah. And your lives are always, I think you need more mods because your lives are always, I don't even know how to mod anymore. And I'm in there and I'm like, I don't know what the hell
speaking
to
of
do.
slumming it, you don't even know how to mod anymore. And you were my very first wrench that I ever gave out.
Yeah. We've been at this friendship for how long now?
I mean, it was June 2020 when I started. So because you were the first person to ever reach out to me.
Yeah. You didn't have any wrenches.
I also had no subscribers. Like Glare and I, Will and I go way back. I had no subscribers. I had 20 people in my chat, and I don't even know why I needed a mod at that point. But he emailed me. He's all, I think you need to get some moderators because things are getting crazy, and I think it's just going to grow. And
yeah, no, it was your first live. I happened to catch it. I didn't know who you were. But you were talking about a case that I was following at the time. I don't remember which one it was.
I don't know.
But so that piqued my interest. And then I was like, there was like 2,000 people or something like that in your chat.
No,
And
not in one of the first ones. There's no way.
it was crazy. It was insane. It was a lot of people.
You know what? I think it was the Vanessa Guillen case because that's the only reason there would have been that many people that early on. So maybe that was it. I don't know. But anyway, we go way back.
Right. Yeah. It was that was I was like putting alert emojis because I don't know how to type anything either. And I was like,
wrench me. I'm all, what the fuck does wrench me mean? I don't know.
Because there were just the chat was going insane. But thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate it. You've been following the Gannon Stauch case since it happened, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember texting with you about it and just being like, what?
What a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll try to not cuss. I don't want you to get flagged.
Dude, first of all, the F-bombs are fine here. I don't worry about that here. Second of all, my monetization's already fucked anyway because I didn't know that a CCR album was going to promote my vintage commercials. So it was sitting there playing a bunch of copyrighted CCR songs.
YouTube loves to copyright and flag, but just because you have my channel name in your title, they're probably going to flag you. It's like unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't.
Whatever. But yeah, I've been following this case a while, so thanks for having me on.
Yeah. So how early on did you think Leticia was guilty?
Literally the second that I saw her on the interview. Like, what do you mean? I mean, I always think people are guilty, like, out of the gate. I don't ever really give anybody the benefit of the doubt, and I need to. But it's one of my downfalls, actually. But no, I think it was the very first time I saw that interview where she had her back to the camera, and when, like, it was like, I think it was on that point, it was like sexual assault story number 2. I'm like, okay, this bitch is lying. Like, there's no way this is real.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was guilty too, but me, like, my focus is always like innocent people getting accused and blah blah blah. And I remember at the time there was already a couple of cases where somebody innocent got accused, and just because they acted like idiots, and I was just like, and now don't get me wrong, behind the scenes, because we were talking behind the scenes, I thought she was guilty, but I was just not going to publicly say it because
I so badly right now want to just reference, like, oh, you mean like Barry Morphew, how you think he's innocent, which I get it, a lot of people do, but like, I don't. And you and I go head to head on that a lot.
No, I don't think Barry Morphew is innocent. I said that I wasn't sure, and I wasn't ready to jump to that conclusion. And then when they made the arrest and released more information, then I was like, oh, but now I think he's guilty and likely going to get away with it. That's where I'm at now. Yeah, because remember we were talking about that too behind the scenes, because I was like, that prosecutor doesn't seem too confident. She seems a little, and she totally jumped the gun. That's going to be the argument for the defense, is they just didn't wait to build a big enough case and have enough evidence before they indicted him. So you will see how that turns out, hopefully. But yeah, currently now, do I think he's guilty? Absolutely. Yeah, totally.
I feel like there were a handful of other ones where we didn't necessarily see eye to eye on, but I can't remember now.
I don't know. Just like,
I mean, I don't know. You're always quick to call me out. You'll shoot me a text and be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like 90% of the cases that we've both talked about, like, you could say we initially are like, well, wait a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Just sending voice memos to each other like, well, what about this? Why do you think this is happening? God.
Exactly.
But at least we see eye to eye on this one. Leticia's a psychopath. Period.
Totally.
Not diagnosed, but like, she's evil, and she's obviously.
Oh, she's definitely. I mean, neither one of us are mental health experts, but she's definitely pathological based on if we're comparing her to other people that we've seen. She's just definitely got that classic, and I hate using this word because it's so overused in the true crime community, but narcissistic, totally narcissistic. And she now, have you been following the trial closely? Because I know you're super busy, and I know you got a million things going on.
No, I have. And in fact, literally before so I told you I was talking with the prosecutor before I jumped on this, but this morning I recorded my week 2 trial recap from everything that went down so far this week. So like, I am like fully caught up. And
Okay. Yeah. So right off the bat, I got to ask you, as far as what is the most shocking thing that you've seen come to light in this trial? Like what made you just like initially the most impactful moment in the trial, would you say is for you?
That's a really good question. I feel like there's a lot of things that have surprised me, like, but not in like a shocking way, more of like, I just can't believe how stupid this person is, like pretending to be Harley on the phone call and like all of these things. Shocking. I think it still is kind of just the stories that she told. It's like she wasn't even trying to cover it up. Actually, I take that back. The most shocking thing to me was them showing the autopsy photos. That was the most shocking. I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah. Like as soon as, I mean, they showed that, I mean, we have to consider this isn't like, there's not news cameras in the courtroom, and they're not concerned about anything other than proving their case, so that's going to happen. I didn't even consider it myself. And as soon as it happened, I was live streaming it, and I was like, oh my God. And then I had to like cut it off. So there's unfortunately a very small moment where we see a little bit, but it really got to me.
Well, I know. I remember you text me and you were basically like, holy shit, you can see so much. And it's tough. I mean, this one definitely, I feel like too, is kind of like struck a nerve with me, especially hearing the details of like the 18 stab wounds or sharp force injury wounds, I'll say, like the one in the back. It's like, and if the cause of death was the blunt force trauma and the gunshot, it's like, so did this bitch really stab him like 18 times, once in the back, like then hit him in that, like, it just like blows my mind. And it's like, it gets under my skin so much. Like, I know it does yours.
Right. And I remember even when when she was arrested and the charges were released, going over those charges, seeing with a firearm, and then seeing with a knife or a sharp object, and seeing a blunt instrument. I was like, wait a second. Don't tell me that she stabbed, beat, and shot him. But that's exactly what happened. We're realizing in the trial, after listening to the medical examiner's testimony, that's exactly what happened. And I mean, she hated Gannon. There's no other. And there's no explanation for it because he was a good kid. Now, I can see him being a little high maintenance because they're talking a lot about how he had these stomach issues and bowel control issues, and it was very embarrassing for him. And this is something that is it's not very uncommon with kids his age. And I can only imagine that a kid who is just prepubescent and going through those changes, those psychological changes, and wanting to fit in school, and just, wanting to make his parents proud at the same time, and just wanting to accept everything, this being something that's very difficult for him to deal with. Mm-hmm. So it requires somebody who you would think has the patience of someone with a PhD in education.
Oh my God, Dr. Leticia, right? I can't.
Right. I'm a doctor too. See, and a
I know. I think I saw that in like a video or two from like a couple of days ago that you did. I'm like, which I was like, I'm hoping he does some of his impersonations, because anytime you impersonate somebody, I'm not even kidding, Will, it doesn't matter who it is, I am like rolling on the floor laughing, like by myself in my car. I just start laughing out loud because I listen to it while I'm driving, and like, oh my God, you're spot on all the time. But yeah, she has no compassion, clearly doesn't care about this kid. I think we all heard that in the audio call too, where she's like, we're going to have to move, or what are we going to do? Like all this stuff. She's just like making him feel like shit for spilling the candle. And it's like, you are a monster. You are the definition of a monster.
Yeah. They don't get any worse than her. Like so far, everything. And when you're thinking the worst about her, she manages to prove you right throughout this trial with all the evidence that becomes presented. I mean, there's one thing that I'm hung up on right now, and I'm hoping to be able to actually speak to an attorney at some point about this. But I'm wondering why the defense hasn't brought up a violation of her rights, because yesterday we watched the interview with her in the interrogation room, a very comfortable interrogation. I've never seen that before. She
Looked
was
like a hotel room. Like, I know.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, and they're like, you want a hot pocket, something to drink?
Literally, when I was recording my recap this morning, I mentioned the hot pocket. And I'm like, I love me a good hot pocket. The 4 cheese one, it's
Sure.
like game over. I like, but they always burn your mouth. Like it sucks. But I love a good hot pocket.
Yeah, that's
Good.
why detectives don't foot chase people. That's why it's fake in the movies, because they're
Yeah.
eating hot pockets at the police station, just sitting
That
around.
that interrogation and questioning, though, I will say, like, they did such a good job, and that's why they're professionals. Like, positioning in the beginning, be like calming her down, being like, "Look, I'm gonna read you your Miranda rights. It's just a formality, so I'm gonna have to like go, like taking her through the process. Also being like, we're gonna escort you anywhere you need to go for your safety, like." To where it's like a normal person, especially not to use the word narcissist too much, would think, okay, I'm fine. Like, but they were trying to cover their tracks. But to your point, there were some issues.
Right. Definitely not Detective Bethel's first rodeo.
No.
And dealing with a narcissistic person. For sure. Because it's not just missing kids that she's dealt with. She's, I mean, it's I don't imagine a whole lot, even though it's the hub for true crime. Colorado is for a couple of years there. But it seems like it seems like she definitely was very seasoned in how to deal with her type of person. To a certain degree. I mean, I don't think I've never seen anybody like Leticia necessarily, honestly, covering cases, following cases. I've never seen anyone like her. But what
Kind of a different crime. I feel like there are some similarities with our girl Jody. In the sense
Jodi
of different
Arias?
stories, kind of
Yeah.
being like thinking she's smarter than everybody else and like telling these lavish lies, like not obviously different crime, different circumstances, but like I could see a few parallels there.
Yeah. I mean, and Jody was a little smarter because she was trying to play the insanity thing from the get-go. I was talking about that on my live yesterday
Oh,
because
you were?
they always, they always seem to leave the suspect in the room alone with the camera going just to see what their behavior is. It seems like is why they do it. And when Jodi Arias was in that position, she was doing handstands and she was just acting crazy, like knowing that she was being observed, and it's almost like she was just already setting up for an insanity plea.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
but
know. Hate her too.
But the reason why I brought up her rights being violated possibly was just because they wouldn't let her leave after she asked to leave. And she was even saying, like, escort me to the door. You said you would do that, right? But they apparently one of the detectives snatched the phone from her and was like, nope.
Yeah, we're waiting. Wasn't he saying he was waiting on the search warrant to come through?
Right. So, I mean, how does he have the right to confiscate it prior to the search warrant going through? So,
Yeah.
and now maybe there's a reason why, and maybe the defense, because the thing is I'm not a lawyer, so I try not to be. I do make my comments here and there, but I try not to be judgmental or critical of an attorney when I don't know what it takes to be an attorney. But this defense, the opening argument was ridiculous. So the first impression that I had of her defense was just asinine completely, and I was like, oh, these guys suck. This is
it was not good. Yeah, it was not good. I hope she's not paying top dollar for that.
Right. No, she's not. It's they're public defenders.
Oh, they are. Okay, sorry. I must have missed that. Yeah.
Right, because remember she was going to represent herself and then
That's
finally
right.
yeah, she was going
Oh
to
my
represent
God.
herself and thank God that didn't happen.
I mean, I kind of wish it would have.
I mean, yeah, but in this for the sake of the victims and just getting through the trial, and
Yeah.
I honestly would have thought the same thing you're thinking right now if I hadn't followed and covered the Daryl Brooks trial, and
Mhm.
he represented himself and he turned it into a total shit show circus.
Circus, yeah.
So in theory, you're like, yeah, because I mean, she's gonna for sure get convicted, and so
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely want her representing herself, of course, but I also just want Landon and Al and anybody who loved Gannon to just get through this, you know,
Totally.
and move on with their lives. So I'm interested personally. I'm just interested in why the defense, if it's because they're incompetent or is there some actual reason why? Because I don't want her getting off on some technicality, you know what I mean? But they
Well, the
never
only thing
objected.
No, the only thing I can think of, and obviously I'm not a legal professional, so I don't know, but I'm wondering if, like, even though they snatched the phone and they were waiting on the search warrant, they ended up getting the warrant, I believe, to extract all of the information. So maybe there is some sort of, like, not loophole, but technicality where even though they took the phone out of her possession without having the warrant yet, they didn't go through the contents of it until they had the warrant. So maybe anything that would have been sent in the snatched period wouldn't matter, but that's not the evidence they needed anyway. Like maybe there's something around it to where the defense wouldn't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, my only theory on that is that I don't know about the phone, but keeping her there physically and not letting
Mhm.
her leave was because she claimed that she was raped and that the rapist is who took Gannon. So therefore, she has the right to press charges or move forward or testify or point somebody out or identify them if she's the only victim. But since they're investigating Gannon's disappearance and she's claiming that there could be evidence on her person as to who that person who took Gannon is, maybe that's why they were able to hold her against
Maybe.
her will and say, hey, your body is
Is
uh,
evidence.
is evidence and we need
Mhm.
to be able to examine. We're going to get a warrant to examine that and we can't let you mess with that right now.
That's
So
true.
that's what that seemed like to me. But the phone, I don't know. I mean, but
Mhm.
maybe it probably doesn't even matter because whether it's her phone or Harley's phone, Al's phone, I mean, she's interacting with all these people and they have enough evidence on their devices that can prove that she's a liar and capable of knowing right from wrong and
Yeah.
lying and covering up her crime. So
Yeah,
maybe
in
her
no way do
phone.
I think she was insane and had like a break or no way. Nobody who has done that, and I mentioned this on my recap that I recorded. I'm like, I get it that you can have a mental break and like have a moment of insanity, and then after the fact, you're sane and you're going through the motions to cover things up to, cover your tracks. But there is no way with everything she has done, everything she has said, that she is that manipulative and calculated that she had a moment of insanity. There's no way. That is a person who is trying to get away with something and who in my opinion, I don't think it was a snap thing. I think there was premeditation, especially with the hydrocodone in his system.
I'm going to agree with you on that. I think that she drugged him,
Mhm.
didn't know how much to give him to drug him, or drugged him out of compassion, maybe.
No, there's no compassion. No.
But to ease his pain, maybe. I mean, of course, you know me, I'm always given the benefit of the doubt, playing devil's advocate. But yeah, I'm gonna lean towards the former.
Mhm.
She just tried to drug him to death.
Yeah, I think to subdue him to make it easier so she could attack
Right.
him.
Sure.
I mean, I could not have, in my opinion, it could not have at all been because she wanted him to not feel the pain or just go to sleep. Because if she was even remotely concerned about his emotions, his feelings, no less his actual physical pain, she wouldn't have been taunting him like we heard on that recording regarding the candle. She wouldn't have been stabbing him while has defensive wounds on his hand. Like, there's no way. I think it was because she wanted to have control over him.
It has to be because I mean, what does it take to kill an 11-year-old? You know what I mean? Does
I
it
mean,
take
apparently a
a
lot, but she
gun, a
couldn't do
knife,
it
and
right the first time.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Does it take a gun, a knife, and a blunt object to subdue and kill successfully an 11-year-old boy who's laying in his bed? You know what I
It's
mean?
so sick.
So right. And so I just don't see how she right. I you're right. As far as the there had to have been some sort of planning prior to that, because there's just her behavior and everything that she's done would indicate that she would have planned it prior, and then there's things that make it very easy to think that she planned it prior, like the hike. I wonder if she was planning on making it look like an accident. I wonder if she drugged him or sent a text to Al with using Gannon's phone asking about bath salts to make it seem as though he was experimenting with drugs and then he had an accident on the hike. But hold on 1 second here.
No problem.
Tatted Tech. The glare, take a moment. He's never sent me one of these before, so I gotta read this. The glare, take a moment and just think, I should delete my channel. Sorry, yeah, he tells me that every time I go live. That's Tatted Tech. Yeah, don't subscribe to the Geek Room because Tatted Tech's beard will wrap around your neck and choke you in your sleep, and then you'll smell like Cheetos. So anyway, but as far as her going, as far as the hike goes, I'm wondering if she like chickened out at the last minute, maybe realized, well, if I kill Gannon on this trip, then I'm gonna have to kill Lena too, and then that's more people that I'm going to have to. That's more to have to cover up. That's more to have to explain. There's no way to make that look like an accident if Lena's on the trip. I just don't. Everything about her seems not crazy, but evil. Everything.
Yes. That's a good way to. That's a good word to use to describe her, and it begs the question too. Calling out for school because of the stomach pains. The photo of the two of them. That more like. Was all of this done in a sense to start building not the alibi but the story of what happened, the version of events, like, which again, that's not a mental break and a moment of insanity. That is you being premeditated and taking the steps in order to execute this crime and then cover it up essentially.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and she did everything she could to lie. She was, even when you listen to her lie, it's really funny because she'll bring up something, her mind will get sidetracked, and then she'll be like, I'll get to that. Wait. Because she doesn't want to screw up the lie that she's on because she has that lie yet to get to.
Yeah, she has to get through her whole story because it's like a mental timeline. So she has to go through it as she's speaking.
Right. Now, I wonder, because I haven't heard anything about drug abuse in regards to her yet, but I'm of the opinion, because I just, again, I play devil's advocate and I give someone the benefit of the doubt, and I just don't imagine someone just naturally being that fucked up and evil, and because Al doesn't seem like a bad guy, and he seemed like a very, in the recording where they were in Starbucks being interviewed by Detective Bethel and her partner, there, he knew all of Gannon's friends, he knew all of their siblings, he knew all of their parents, he knew all of their parents' siblings. He was completely involved in anything that was happening with Gannon. So the picture that was painted this whole time of Al was that he was gone with the Army National Guard and left Leticia to handle all of the parenting. And Leticia painted this picture on social media that was the case too, and that Landon didn't give a shit about anything, or you know what I mean. So she paints this picture, and sorry, I got a super chat here. Quinn B, thank you. L only cries when talking about one, shame. Leticia only cries when talking about one, shame, not addressing Gannon's burned wounds, alleged SA that day, triggers from the past. This seems to be her truth. She is way too methodical with all her details. I agree with you, and thank you so much.
It's a good point.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. So I lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was talking about. But she drugs. I feel like, because she seemed to, based on her Google searches, she seemed to be not happy with her current life. She seemed to be wanting to live a completely different type of lifestyle. Instead of being involved in education, she seemed to have this very overwhelming delusional fantasy of being a flight attendant.
Wait, and wasn't it for Spirit Airlines? Like, not to shame anybody who flies Spirit. I've flown Spirit and Frontier a time or two, but like, if you're a doctor, Leticia, time to have bigger aspirations, my friend.
I agree. I could tell you that the only times that I've ever flown Spirit were like going to a funeral, like in a pinch. You know what I mean? Like in a pinch.
Yeah, in a
like,
pinch.
I got to get a flight right now. You know
that
what
would
I mean?
be like the best commercial for Spirit, like Spirit Airlines in a pinch.
Exactly. Did somebody just die? And you don't want to pay $3,000 for a round trip ticket?
Yeah.
Fly Spirit.
Oh God. I don't know that I mean, maybe drugs were involved. I don't know enough about her history. I just what I know about this case and stuff, but I feel like that would be really easy to blame it on that. But her Google searches too are too big of red flags for me.
Well, it's not a defense, so I can see
No.
why it was never brought up, and it's really just going to make her look like even worse of a mother. So the defense is never going to use that.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to say that she was a loving mother figure to all of the kids there, but you know, she just had this moment of weakness where her childhood came back to haunt her. And I mean, yeah, I don't understand why that excuse, people think that that's gonna fly, is the excuse that somebody had a rough childhood. Like,
I mean,
the
a million
worst.
people have rough childhoods. Like, you don't go and torture an 11-year-old boy over it. And even with her brother Dakota's testimony, it's like, yeah, it was heartbreaking, and we heard some stories about the father. Not that they are excusable or paint him in an okay light at all, but in my opinion, and tell me what you think, certainly not enough to think, wow, she clearly was tormented her entire childhood, and no wonder she suffered. I mean, it was nothing like that. It was bad, yes, but like nothing to where you would think that there's even an iota of an excuse or reason for why she did this.
Nothing out of the norm for a child who's gone through that. You know what I mean? Like, it's in the sense that, like, of course, like you said, it's a horrible thing for somebody to have to grow up with, but it's never proven to ever been an excuse to kill anybody. You know what I mean? So I don't know why the defense would think that that's a good defense to use, because it just doesn't work. You know, at this point these days, you're going to get in a scenario like she's in right now, you're going to get a jury to feel like, well, cry me a river, you know, because you don't know what that jury went through. I mean, I'm going to assume that there's going to be at least one or two people in that jury who's going to be like, dude, I got the shit kicked out of me my whole childhood, and I never desired to kill a child.
No.
So,
but you know what? I feel like there is this whole like heightened sense, and I don't want to go off on like too much of a tailspin on this, but like I think that women are using a lot of right, wrong, or indifferent, using a lot of those things from their childhood or from their young years to give reason as to their current behaviors. And I think that if she needed a defense, and the defense was, okay, it was going to be a moment of insanity, what can we use to have made you snap? It's because you are the victim. You were tortured. You were hurt. You had this horrible upbringing. Like, let's go with that to get you the sympathy. If they weren't going to go with that, what other reason would it be that people could, have sympathy for her? There isn't one. So it's like they were kind of boxed in my opinion.
Agreed. I mean, I think that I went from being like, okay, this defense is just, they're idiots. You know, I went from thinking that to, well, it's not their choice of whether or not she pleads guilty or not guilty. They can only work with whatever she decides to do within her rights. And she's chosen to plead not guilty because she believes herself to not be guilty. And the defense is doing whatever the best they can with with a not guilty plea. And there's just not much, you know.
No.
And I wonder that, speaking of which, that I'm going to piggyback off of that thought and the defense. Notice Leticia's demeanor in court, right? Because I know that's something that you're going to look at and just dissect.
You mean when her greasy ass walks in every day?
Right.
I can't.
Right.
And her hands in her head, but then like perked up when she's curious. Like, I can't.
Right. And she, the whole time she was engaged when Al was testifying. And I wonder if that was some sort of manipulation / intimidation tactic that she's just used to with their dynamic together. Because Al seemed to be aware that she was a manipulative person and just seemed to be like, whatever, you know, I married her, it's for life, and I'm just doing the best I can with it. That's the impression I got from Al. You know, I mean, she tried to say, of course, she's the type of person to fake and lie about a pregnancy. And then, of course, she's going to say it's twins and then be bold enough to lie about that without even worrying about when the time comes when there's no baby.
And that's when you have scary ass people
You know?
like Taylor Parker who cuts a baby out of a woman's womb because they're like, oh, now I got to commit to the lie. Otherwise, I'm a narcissist and I'm going to look bad. So now I got to commit to it. It's just, it's scary. Those kinds of people are scary.
Megan Faramuska as well. Same thing. And and she's, man, I don't think she's even gone to trial. Whatever happened to her? Whatever happened with that case?
Which
has
one?
that even been the Megan Faramuska charge? The Heidi Broussard case.
I don't know what's happened with that one. I was following the Reagan Hancock and Taylor Parker one more closely. I didn't follow the other one nearly as closely as you did, so I couldn't tell you.
I still don't even know if did she get life? Okay.
Taylor Parker? Taylor
Taylor
Parker did. Or did she get the death penalty? I can't remember. I have to go back. I'm sure the chat knows. She got life or the death penalty, but let's talk about crazy stories and lies that people told. I think that's honestly my most viewed video ever on YouTube because it is that crazy. She told so many insane lies, and it's kind of similar to Leticia.
Yeah, I didn't follow that case. I watched your video on it when it came out, but I never followed up with it. They're saying Megan Faramuska got life. I guess she pled guilty and then she got life because it's Texas. Like if you plead not guilty and then they prove the case in Texas, you're getting the death penalty. You know.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Yeah, Taylor did get death.
Yeah, but she didn't. Well, and I want to be clear, she didn't cut the baby out of Heidi Broussard. She just stole her baby after she had it.
Oh yeah, Taylor cut her out,
and
then stuffed the placenta in her own pants while she was driving, pretending she gave birth. Like,
oh my God,
what the fuck? Like, you have lost your mind. Yeah,
I think I even did a stream on that. Now that I think about it, God, that was so long ago.
It was wild, and she was telling people she was like inheriting money, $1 million. Like her lies were insane.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I going back to Leticia and her demeanor in court when she looks she obviously, you know, we've gone over when she looks engaged and why she looks engaged and those moments, but the rest of the time she's completely disconnected. Now I'm wondering if that was instructed to her by her attorneys to do that. I wonder if that is somehow supposed to play into convincing the jury that she does suffer from dissociative identity disorder. I don't know enough about dissociative identity disorder, but from what I understand, it's something like only 1% of the population has ever been diagnosed with it. And it's a really difficult thing to diagnose anybody with. And somebody in my chat was talking about how the author of Sybil popularized that, and it wasn't
Yeah.
even nearly. It turned out that Sybil was full of shit, and it ended up becoming proven later that she was faking most of her multiple personalities. But it became popular because of that case. And so the fact that the defense is using it, so to people who are more educated than you or I, they're saying that's why it's such a crazy defense, and that it'll never work, because it's just nobody is ever diagnosed with this, almost.
Yeah. I
Um,
can't imagine that they would be strategic and smart enough to try to pull that off. My personal opinion is that she looks uninterested because she is uninterested. I think that
I
she is a
agree.
narcissist, and unless it's coming from Al, who she, I believe, probably still cares about in some regard, I don't know. Unless it's something like that to where it directly is affecting her emotions, I don't think she gives a shit. And so she's tuning it out. And I don't think she's earning any points with the jury doing that, because if I were on the jury, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, you don't even seem to give a shit or be taking this seriously. You're not even interested in what these people have to say, which clearly shows me you have no remorse, and you're guilty. You're guilty, and you're not insane, you know?
Right. Like, if I was accused of a crime and I truly believe that it wasn't my fault, like, even if it was admitting that I did it, but I have no recollection because I had a moment where I snapped and I went crazy and I just don't remember what happened. You know, while I'm in court fighting this, I'm going to be writing, passing notes back to my lawyer. I'm going to be listening to every single little word of testimony from every person that's up there. And like, I'm going to be backseat driving my attorneys, you know,
You're
to
going to
some
at least
degree.
pretend to have emotion, like
At
Lori
least.
Vallow did, and trying to get out and excuse herself and say, I don't want to see the graphic stuff this week. You're going to at least pretend that you're affected. But she's
Right.
not.
Not even a little bit. I'm waiting for her to have an outburst, honestly. Like, I'm just
I hope it comes.
I'm just waiting for that to happen.
I'm waiting for another story to drop. Like another, like, there have been a lot of little like bombshells and things that have happened last week and this week that were like, oh shit, like, you know, kind of a moment. But I feel like there's going to be something, and I can't pinpoint what that is. There's just like a gut feeling I have that there's going to be a moment where something turns and everybody's left kind of with their jaw on the floor. I could be wrong, but that's based on everything we've seen so far and where we're at. I just feel like something's coming.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, they've projected an 8-week time frame for this trial. And so there's 7 weeks left, pretty much. Well, more like 6, but
6 and change. Yeah.
right. But the interesting thing about that is, we've already seen so much to like, as far as the original affidavit that was released, and we got so much of our information from that. You know, it feels like they've gone over pretty much almost everything on that. They've gone over the GPS tracking, they've gone over the rental cars, they've gone over all of this other stuff. Hold on one second. Okie Crime News, thank you so much. When Landon testifies, I see her showing her crazy side. I don't know about all that, but thank you. Maybe, I mean, it's possible, but Quinby, thank you again. Maybe was giving him Vicodin for a long time to show he is a problem child, then gets attention from Al as the hero caretaker. It gives credence to her Google searches being so alone and unhappy, egocentric. I think those Google searches, I agree with you. Thank you, Quinn. I think those Google searches are proof towards motive for sure.
Oh yeah, she was planning it. She wanted to escape. She wanted to move to Florida. She didn't have any plans to continue participating in that life. None.
And she hated Landon
Mm-hmm.
and felt unappreciated by Gannon and Lena. So and that brings me to my next question to you. As far as Harley goes, what do you think about Harley's involvement in all of this?
First of all, I'm really eager for Harley to take the stand. Like, I'm not sure who's going to call her, when that's going to happen. Tell me if I'm wrong, if that's not even happening. But I think that might be where we learn a bombshell, I think. Because I think that I don't think she was involved, don't get me wrong, and I don't think she was complicit or anything like that. But I think she probably knows more to the story. And even if Leticia didn't outright tell her the truth of what happened or why, I think she was made privy to information that maybe we don't know yet, and that's going to come out.
I agree with you. And Harley being a 17-year-old versus being a 10 or 11-year-old, I feel like she's very observant and probably saw and put together more things, and was probably placated by her mom a lot, treated like a child, talked to like a child, underestimated in that sense to a certain degree. So she was probably able to put certain things together. But don't be surprised, and nobody come after me here, because I do believe her to be a victim in this entire thing. But don't be surprised if it turns out that she had to have some sort of involvement in Gannon's disposal or something to that effect. Because Leticia, pressured her, for lack of a better term, being her mom and being someone of clearly an abusive nature, probably put her in a position to have to do certain things that she didn't agree with, and is probably testifying under the pressure of, hey, we could charge you with this, because she's not going to want to testify against her mom. I would assume she probably wouldn't.
I don't know though, because they've had years now apart, and so I don't know if they've had a lot of contact, and what that communication has been like since Leticia's been incarcerated. But now there's been a few years to where whatever Leticia's grasp on her was, that may no longer be. That might have evaporated. And so maybe now she's wising up and she'll speak out because she's not scared anymore.
That's what I'm hoping for. But I'm wondering if she was subpoenaed under those circumstances. And I'm really hoping that wasn't the case. But I'm just saying to those following the case, don't be surprised if that happens. And don't be surprised if she sits up there and defends her mom. It's her mom. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just trying to cushion that blow for my audience. I tend to do that sometimes, but I'm trying to cushion that blow for my audience, because that just may very well happen. I don't think personally it's going to happen. I actually tend to agree with you when it comes to, like you said, there's been 3 years of them being apart, 3 years of who knows who she's talked to as far as who's directly involved in the investigation and what they've told her. Who knows what kind of recorded conversations they've played for her. Who knows what, what I mean? Who knows what Harley has been made privy to since she's turned 18, and they're like, well, you're an adult now and you're old enough to know this, and this. So I'm thinking that that's a more likely scenario. But I definitely think that Harley has damning information.
I think so too. I don't know the relationship of Harley with Dakota, Deborah, and the aunt either, but I would also think that with their public disdain for Leticia, and how we clearly know that they're heartbroken by this and don't condone her actions. If she's I would imagine as a young girl, if you're close with your uncle and that's, Leticia's brother, and he's even saying this is wrong, it's not that you would necessarily sway that direction, but I feel like that would have more of an influence over you rather than sticking tried and true to your mom when you've had the disconnect for 3 years now. But who knows? Anything is possible. But I think she will have more information. She had to have at least seen or heard things or noticed things.
Right. Because I see her being in a position where Leticia, she's the most susceptible and the most likely to be the main target of Leticia's manipulation. And so I feel like, I feel like Leticia would have said, things to her, used her as the person to complain to the most, because Leticia is always, everyone's against me, everybody's out to get me, blah 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 blah. And the one person who in her mind most likely she would think is going to be on her side and most loyal to her no matter what is going to be her own daughter. So she's Harley is going to definitely be, in my opinion, the one that's going to have the most to say about Leticia's behavior, and how she was dealing with everything going on between the time that Gannon went missing and her being arrested.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see Leticia's facial expressions and body movements when Harley's on the stand.
Absolutely.
I think she'll probably show emotion. I think that we rarely see her emotional. I think that will trigger emotion in her, especially if she's testifying, against her.
Absolutely. And that's when I'm going to wish that they had cameras close up on Leticia's face so I could see her facial expression, because I do believe that she's going to sit up there, like whatever she was doing with Al, multiply that by 100 with Harley. I think she's going to be try to make her presence as intimidating towards her while she's on the stand as possible. And I can't, and I think a monster like her knows how difficult that's going to be for Harley to have to face her mom sitting there on trial for her life. I think that that's going to be the most emotional part of the entire trial for sure. And I just, I look forward to hearing the information she's going to give, but I don't look forward to the trauma that she's obviously going to have to endure from that experience.
No,
but I'm glad it's going to be over for her once that happens. I mean, I hope.
Hopefully, it's cathartic in a way.
Yeah, this has been 3 years in the making. So I mean, between COVID and Leticia's manipulation tactics and stalling tactics, it's gotten to this point. And everyone at this point just wants to see justice done. So I'm I feel bad for every because I believe that Harley loved Gannon too, I have no reason not to believe that. So I'm sure that she wants justice for him. So I'm looking forward to everyone in this situation to just finally get the closure that will come from this. And we still have so much left to go. So much.
I feel like we're barely scratching the surface.
Yeah, that's crazy, because to me, like, that's everything. Like, I don't know how you do it, man. You're like case after case. and I just get invested in one, and I'm just like, but yeah, that's crazy to me that you're as caught up as you are, considering everything that you're so busy with.
Well, I can't take all the credit. I have an amazing group of people who were a part of the 10 to Life community and who now help me professionally and like work with me, that help me keep track of everything, because there's no way I could do it alone. Absolutely not. They are like the backbone of everything.
Right on. Yeah, no, I have mods that are very, very helpful with the chat, but behind the scenes, there's Cherry, who she's a machine. She doesn't sleep. It's insane. So I'm very grateful to Cherry. I don't know where she is right now.
She's been an OG for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't find my socks without her for sure. But I know you wanted to keep this down to an hour because you've got so much other things going on, so I won't keep you any longer.
No, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you. We definitely need to do this again when I can carve some time out. It's just now it's getting towards the end of the week. I gotta get shit done before I gotta, be full-time on with my babies.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you're killing it. Like
Thanks.
you've got the family, you got Jer and the 2 kids, and then you've got this insane time consuming thing with YouTube and your podcast, which is amazing. Tell us a little bit about your podcast before you go. Everybody's already familiar
Yeah,
with the channel.
we launched last week, and it's called Serialously, so kind of like seriously, but with the word serial, like serial killer in the front. Still true crime based, but it's more of like a casual conversation, a little more hot takes. I'm gonna actually be uploading my week 2 trial recap for this on there first, because YouTube flags me like a million times, and it'll take a few days for it to get over there. So I'm hoping to have that up in the next hour or two. So we'll see. But yeah, it's exciting stuff. So all podcast platforms. If you don't want to watch and you just want to listen, that is the way to do it.
That's awesome. And I know you've already had Mike King from Profiling Evil as a guest on one of them.
Yep,
Dude
it
is
hasn't
awesome.
aired yet, but it is coming. It is coming.
Yeah, he is. I caught him live. He did a little live stream, and I was in his chat. And this was after I saw the blooper from him, because he had trouble pronouncing the name of your podcast.
Oh my God, I know. He's so
It is a
funny.
little bit of a tongue twister.
It is. Yeah, he's the best.
And yeah, he was like, yeah, I was on I was doing the thing with Annie and blah blah blah, and I was in the chat, and I was like, yeah, I saw the blooper, and he was like, oh, the glare is in here, and yeah, you saw the blooper.
You know what was so awesome about that
kinda,
too? Is Mike, and like he's first of all like so smart, and just if you guys don't follow Profiling Evil, check it out. He's like a former FBI profiler. He like has helped with so many cults. Like he's insane. But we've all kind of been in touch, and him and I have gone back and forth on each other's channels since probably 2020 as well. And he happened to be in LA for some work law enforcement type conference, and I was like, oh my God, like you have to come to where I'm filming now. Like I want you on the podcast. So it was the first time we've ever met in person. And it was awesome. Like the second I saw him in the parking lot, I just gave him a huge hug. Like I've known him for years, which I have, but like, it's you and I've never even met in person. It's like, it's so weird when it's real life, but it like turns real life, if that makes sense.
Because I'm a fanboy, dude, for Mike King. Like, I'm not even trying to lie. Like, the dude is super cool. And so, like, I was like, one of the first things I asked, just like, is he really that nice, like, in person? Tell me.
100%.
And I was like praying you weren't going to wreck my dreams. And you were like, yeah, he's totally like the same. He's just super nice.
He's the exact same person. Exact same person. And when we turned the camera off, he, of course, like, I wanted to know my opinion on a lot of cases, like the Jared Lysick case, things like that. He was like, let's talk like off the record. And like, we had our conversations about all that, but like, he's the same person that everybody sees on his channel. He's great.
Yeah, that's the brain to pick for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Like he's just like, yeah, because it blows my mind that he has seen and had to, like, we're talking about he had to get in the minds of the worst people to walk the planet. You know what I mean?
I never even knew, and I believe it was Richard Ramirez that he interviewed him several times. Like the Night Stalker, like he has dealt with some of the worst of the worst of the worst, and like, yeah, so he's a wealth of knowledge for sure.
And he's always smiling. That's what I'm getting at. Is like he's just like the nicest, most unfazed dude.
I know, just with his big dimples and just so happy.
Like I'll look at the wrong picture of a perp on these cases that we're talking about, and I'll be like, ugh, I need a drink.
Yeah.
Like I'll get like that. And we're talking about this guy will just literally, get in the minds of someone who's capable of things that you can't even imagine somebody is capable of.
Yeah.
And he is just super kind. Never so kind. Like I don't get one little shred of indication that he is pretentious, anything like that. He's just a really, really nice guy. So it's like refreshing. You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's super refreshing. So
yeah.
But Annie, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. This was great.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate
Anytime.
it. And thanks for being like, my loyal mod since day one, even though apparently we forgot how to do it. So I guess I better never go live again.
I think you're good now.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
I think you're covered now.
All right.
But
Well,
don't
thanks
take my
so
wrench.
much.
I like
No,
having the
I
wrench.
won't. I won't. Only I have taken it a couple times. Only when you're bad. Like only when you like get wild and go off the rails for a little bit. I'm like, well, you gotta reel it in.
That's a lot less likely to happen these days, but you
That's
know
good.
me, like there's just some things I can't shut up about. So
I know.
you know
I
how
know.
it
I see it come through on my feed. Will's live again. I'm all, oh shit, here we go.
Oh man, yeah, like do or die, man. Like I mean, if this channel's gonna grow, I refuse to let it be under circumstances of me not being who I am and what I believe in. So I'm okay with it not growing. But you know, if it's gonna grow, like
better to have it for the right reasons and being true to
Exactly.
yourself for sure.
Absolutely. And I love that you've always been very supportive of that, and it means a lot to me. So thank you for
Do
that.
you just please don't loop me into it? I have enough drama in my life. Leave me out of it.
No worries.
All right. Thanks so much, Will. I'll talk to you soon. I'll talk to you later today, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.
All right, guys. Yeah, that was pretty much it, man. I don't really have anything else to talk about. We went over all of the catch up on the Leticia Stauch trial. And in such a short period, I didn't think I was going to have enough time, but we talked about pretty much everything I wanted to talk about as far as the trial goes so far. I'm really, really glad that Annie got to join me today. Hopefully, I'm going to try to set something up with other creators since Thursdays is the day that they don't have trial throughout the week. So just so it doesn't throw me off into a loop and I'm in the habit of just being live consistently, what I like to do is make this a regular thing on Thursdays with a different guest. It's what I'd like to do. I can't promise that it's actually going to happen because I'm terrible at managing my channel, but I'll do the best I can. As always, guys, I am so grateful to you guys for all your support. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you guys for being so kind and welcoming and respectful to Annie for Annie in the chat. You guys are just amazing. I couldn't ask for a better community. So I'm really, really grateful to you guys for just being you. I love you guys. Thank you very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.